another Tamagotchi video. And in this video, I'm gonna be giving you guys a guide to help you find the Tamagotchi that is right for you. Just a little heads up, this is my personal opinion on each Tamagotchi, but regardless, I hope this helps you guys find the right Tamagotchi for you. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the Tamagotchis that are being re-released right now, like the Tamagotchi Original, the Tamagotchi Connection, the Tamagotchi Pix, and the Tamagotchi Uni. So before I get into any specific Tamagotchi, I first want to do an overall comparison. As you guys may already know, the Tamagotchi Original and Connection both do not have colored screens. That means that once they are on, they're always on. On the contrary, the Tamagotchi Pix and the Uni both have color screens. Because they turn off like this. Don't worry, the system does not turn off, it's just that the screen turns off to save power. But something I noticed about these Tamagotchis with colored screens that I like more than the ones with the colored screens is that whenever your Tamagotchi needs attention, the screen will light up. And so I like this better because it lets me know they need attention. As for the ones without the screen that lights up, you would just have to pay a close attention to your Tamagotchi and see when they need something or not. Either way, every single one of these Tamagotchis do make a sound if your Tamagotchi needs your attention. Also, something all these Tamagotchis have is a feature to turn off the audio. So if by any point in time you need to turn off the audio, all of these Tamagotchis have the option to turn it off. The Original and the Connection, you just have to press A and C at the same time to turn the audio off. While in the Tamagotchi Pix and in the Tamagotchi Uni, you would have to go into your settings and then turn off the audio from there. Something interesting and very unique that the Uni has is that the Uni has a setting where you can adjust the audio to the volume that you want. That is to say, it doesn't just let you turn it off and on, but it lets you adjust the level of the audio. Also, another general comparison is the size of the Tamagotchis. So the Tamagotchi Original is the smallest, while the Tamagotchi Connection and Uni, I would say they're medium-sized, while the Tamagotchi Pix is actually the biggest one. And not only is it bigger, but it's also the thickest one. Here's a comparison. And I would like to say that it's thicker due to the fact that it has a built-in camera. Another common question I get asked is, how is the battery life for each Tamagotchi? Now, the battery life honestly depends on the type of batteries you buy. I would say that they last me enough for the lifespan of your Tamagotchi. So for the Tamagotchi Original, I would say this battery has lasted me like a month. I'm honestly very surprised by its battery life. Now, the Tamagotchi Connection, I take its battery off whenever I'm not playing with it. So I don't know how long the battery has lasted me, but I could tell you it can last 2 to 3 weeks. But I honestly haven't kept the battery on for this one. The Tamagotchi Pix, I would say the battery life for this one lasts me around 2 weeks. And for this one, I can confirm that it's around 2 weeks because I've played this Tamagotchi back to back. And unlike the rest of the Tamagotchis, the Tamagotchi Uni actually does not use battery. It is actually chargeable. And it lasts me around 2 days, which is like the worst battery life out of all of them. But in its defense, it is chargeable. Another factor that is different between each Tamagotchi is the rubber buttons. So the Original and the Connection have rubber buttons. However, the Pix has touch screen buttons, which some people don't like, but because the buttons are touch screen, it does allow for the feature of swiping to happen, which is often used in the games. Lastly, the Uni has plastic buttons. Another important factor that you should think about when getting your Tamagotchi is the amount of games that are included in the Tamagotchi. In my opinion, my least favorite Tamagotchi to play with would be the original. And that's mainly because there's only one game. It has very limited options, and so I quickly got bored of just repeating the same routine over and over and over. Another aspect that I don't like about the Tamagotchi original is the fact that your Tamagotchi will die. From sickness or from old age, your Tamagotchi will die, and honestly that is heartbreaking for me. So that's another reason why I'm not really a big fan of the original. Meanwhile, in the Tamagotchi connection, you don't necessarily have to watch your Tamagotchi die. As you guys might have seen in my Tamagotchi connection series, my Tamagotchi actually got married and had an offspring. So eventually my Tamagotchi, my adult Tamagotchi, just left and I was left with their offspring. So I didn't have to go through the pain of watching my Tamagotchi die. On the other hand, for the Tamagotchi Pix, you're raising your Tamagotchi to get a job. Kind of like a child. You're raising them until they go off to college and they study what they want and then they get their career. In total, it has 11 games, not including the job training or items. And also something else, the Tamagotchi Pix actually has another version. There's a Tamagotchi Pix, which is this one, and the Tamagotchi Pix Party. I don't own the Tamagotchi Pix Party, but I can tell you that the only difference between the Tamagotchi Pix and the Tamagotchi Pix Party is that the Pix Party has a party option. So it's basically, it just has like an extra feature that allows you to make parties. And lastly, we have the Tamagotchi Uni, which has around 4 games, not including the extensions that you could buy, nor the games that change seasonally. Although it only has 4 games, this Tamagotchi actually has a lot more features than the rest because it has this whole online world. In the Tamagotchi Uni, your Tamagotchi also doesn't die. Eventually, when it'll just reach an age where it wants to leave the house. It does not have the same option as the Pix. You're helping your Tamagotchi find a job. In this case, your Tamagotchi just leaves at some point. However, if your Tamagotchi gets married and they have an offspring, you can continue the family tree with this one. Just so you know, only the Tamagotchi connection and the Uni gives you the option to start your own family tree. Another important feature I think you guys should know about when just getting a Tamagotchi is knowing if it's interactive or not. By interactive, I mean whether you can play with your friend or not. In this case, all of the Tamagotchis are interactive except the original. The original is the only Tamagotchi that does not allow you to play with another Tamagotchi. Every other Tamagotchi does give you the option to play with another friend. The Tamagotchi connection and the Pix do require you to have a physical Tamagotchi and be able to do the gameplay, while the Tamagotchi Uni has an online feature that lets you connect with other players around the world. So I told you guys what my least favorite Tamagotchi was, which is the Tamagotchi original. Now, if you were to ask me what is my favorite Tamagotchi, I would honestly, it has to be between the Tamagotchi connection and the Pix, though I would say I like the Pix more. And it may possibly be because it was my first Tamagotchi, but I honestly just enjoy the gameplay with this one. But I guess it could be with the fact that I feel like I can bond more with my Tamagotchi. I just enjoy watching them grow up and get their jobs. Okay, now getting into each Tamagotchi. So the first Tamagotchi I have here, which is the oldest one, is the Tamagotchi original re-release. So as mentioned earlier, this Tamagotchi has very basic features. It's basically just raising your Tamagotchi. It doesn't have much. There's only one game that you could play. I found it really repetitive once he got older, and That's probably why I didn't really like it. But it is a really cute Tamagotchi, and honestly, if you guys want to buy the Tamagotchi original, go for it. It's a great way to start. It is the original Tamagotchi, so it honestly just depends on what you're looking for in a Tamagotchi. And if you want something small, convenient that you could have on, latched on to something, even if it's just for styling purposes. So the Tamagotchi connection, one of my favorite Tamagotchis. This Tamagotchi is different from the original Tamagotchi, mainly due to the fact that this one you could connect with friends. You guys can start a family. Also really cool is the fact that this Tamagotchi connection has a bunch of like options and things to do with your Tamagotchi. At every life stage, your Tamagotchi unlocks more games, and so every time there's just more and more things to do. And on top of that, you could trade gifts, you can buy items, you could use items, you could also buy food. There's a lot more food options now. It's not the same basic 2 foods and 2 snacks that the Tamagotchi original has. Something else about this Tamagotchi that is different from the Tamagotchi original is the fact that this Tamagotchi offers you a much wider variety of Tamagotchis that you can have. Next is the Tamagotchi Pix. So the Tamagotchi Pix is a big Tamagotchi, as I mentioned earlier, so if you're not really a big fan of having this big bulky Tamagotchi, then I would not recommend getting the Pix, but I do really much love the Pix. Much like the connection, I feel like through the Pix, you can really bond with your Tamagotchi, and I think that's partly because of the fact that the buttons are touchscreen. The Tamagotchi Pix has a feature where you could pet your Tamagotchi just by like touching the screen, and I find that so cute. It has a big colored screen. It has a built-in camera, and there's also like games and things that you could do with the camera. You could also take your Tamagotchi anywhere you want. Like I have a video where I took my Tamagotchis with me to Disney Spring, and I took pictures of them with the little characters. It was so cute. You could also connect with friends with the Tamagotchi Pix. In addition to that, it has like a whole bunch of other options. However, unlike the Tamagotchi connection, for this one you do have to buy your own food. Once your Tamagotchi gets older, it's gonna stop liking the free food, so you're gonna have to take it out on restaurants or cook it food. Yes, that is an option. You could cook your Tamagotchi food with the Tamagotchi Pix. And lastly, we have the Tamagotchi Uni, which is the newest Tamagotchi. And the most unique feature about this Tamagotchi is the fact that it is universal. This Tamagotchi does connect to Wi-Fi, and it does let you play with players all around the world. Besides that, even if you don't have Wi-Fi, this Tamagotchi does have a lot of cool built-in features. It has 3 games, however, one of those games is seasonal, so like the game would be changing as the seasons go on, so you won't necessarily get bored of the same 3 games at the same time. Besides that, this Tamagotchi also has a bunch of cool items and features that you could have your Tamagotchi play with. Also, because the Tamagotchi does come with a feature that lets you connect it to your hand, this Tamagotchi also allows you to go on a walk with your Tamagotchi. Having said that, yes, this Tamagotchi is motion censored and may not have the best motion sensor, but it is still really cool that it even offers it in the first place. Having said that, this Tamagotchi also does allow you to turn it off. This is the only Tamagotchi that you can turn off. Like, I have it off right now. For the other ones, I normally just take off their batteries because they do not turn off. If you're looking for the Tamagotchi with the most features, I would say go with the Tamagotchi Uni. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried my best to inform you guys of all the unique options of each Tamagotchi. At the end of the day, it's what you guys want and what you guys are looking for in a Tamagotchi. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Till next time, bye!